What are some signs that a friend isn't truly your friend? When they only reach out to you when they want something. A variation on this: will not respond to texts, phone calls that you send them, but will instigate completely unrelated conversations days later. I had a really good friend who would often ignore my texts for days on end. Many times when I really needed someone to talk to, and then text me to talk about some video game or something without ever acknowledging that I had been reaching out. They say no when you ask them for help building your Lego Death Star. If you feel like shit when you are around them, monsieur, or afterwards, that damaged something inside me. Feeling you put in more energy than them and it never seems to be enough. Got to clarify something though. Being an introvert, I had this newish friend who I could feel was trying too hard to be my friend. We would hang out with our group, but then he would message me through Facebook. Sometimes even call me. I don't even do that with my close friends that much. If I was quiet, I enjoy listening to the banter of our group, but I rarely participate. He would go out of his way to strike up a conversation. He was a cool guy and definitely friend material, but he was kinda suffocating me by putting in so much energy. We weren't close enough that I could tell him straight up to back off a bit during my me time. So I ended up rolling with it, but I found that I was getting tired and it started affected me. I would dread hearing my phone ring, etc. But I was too shy to say something about it. Kind of sounds like he might have thought you felt left out. Sometimes people mistake quiet people for lonely people and make it a point to always include them in everything. I know I've been guilty of it before. If it really bothers you, I would try to explain it. I used to tell people that I had a social battery, and it just drained faster than theirs. It wasn't a personal thing. They have a lot to say about other people you consider friends. They never check up on you or contact you first. They never invite you to things. They never ask your opinions or what you want. They're always cutting you down, especially in front of others. Yeah, and then apologizes every single time after it happens, promising to not do it again. Or try to gaslighting you, saying they weren't that mean. You're just sensitive. If they brag about being brutally honest and use that as an excuse to shit talk anyone, including you. I have this friend. She thinks she gives tough love, but anytime you try to give it back, she can't take it. They take advantage of you, betray you, avoid you, let you down, run around, hurt you, and desert you, when they're only waiting for their turn in a conversation. Well, I need work on being a better friend. They don't celebrate your successes. The day my wife announced our engagement to her ex-BFF was the day she realized that friendship had sailed a long time ago. Ex-BF seemed completely incapable of processing the concept that something exciting had happened to someone else. She barely reacted at all, and soon after changed the conversation to how much her and her BF were in love. That meeting just sucked all the air out of my wife's excitement. Took me a moment to realize that BF meant best friend rather than boyfriend. Was a bit confused for a moment. Flaking and being generally disrespectful of your time. If you and me make plans, I will be there, on time. In rare circumstances would I cancel. But if I do, it stays in advance. I've had ex-friends where I'd be at the place waiting, and after 30 minutes I have to text them, hey, where are you at it? Quote. And they say, yeah, sorry, can't make it. Happened to me once my first year of undergrad. Had been talking to this girl from my hometown that moved this summer after we graduated. We liked each other and decided to write letters to one another and call each other all the time. It was always the best part of my day when we would talk. About halfway through the semester, the girl just fell off the face of the earth. This happened right after a Cat 3/4 hurricane directly hit where I thought they were, so I didn't know if they were alive. No answers from calls. I had to call the roommate and ask if she was alive, to which I got the answer, she didn't tell you. She wants space. Cough, you know who you are, shoulder cough. They steal your credit card. They spend about $2,400 on it. They changed the address for the monthly statement to go to their own home so that you never receive the bill. They continue to be your friend during this time, knowing that they are screwing you over. They apply for additional credit cards in your name to be sent to their home address. They get caught mistakenly, and when threatened with going to the police, they promise to pay you back. They stop paying you back, and when threatened to finally go to the police, their sister messages you to stop ruining their life, and that if you were to go to the police now, after waiting a few months for them to pay you back, the police wouldn't do anything. Yeah, good times. Greater than, hey Donna. Less than, 240. Okay bro, it ruins someone's life for like $20. One day they're acting like you're their best friend, the next they're acting like you don't exist. You manage to describe at least half of my classmates. You start questioning if she is really a friend. The problem is I do that with everyone. They never ask how you are. They encourage you to do something that harms you. Yes, I got encouraged to smoke by someone I thought cared. I just wanted to fit in with a monsieur. They didn't care. Quitting is hard. They never engage first. Fuck. I do that with all my friends because I don't want to annoy the monsieur. Carrot. I don't want to lose them too. They ignore you a lot. Like, a lot. I had a friend like this recently leave me, calling me a draining source of anxiety behind my back. Realized afterward that there were a lot of signs that they probably didn't like me. Main was ignoring. They try to manipulate you into doing things that are to their advantage but not yours. If they can't dance, then they know friend of mine. Exclamation mark. I can dance if I want to. I can leave my friends behind. When someone always tries to one-up you and gets upset, bothered, flustered when you succeed, and the friend perceives that she is not. Friends should always build each other up, celebrate each other's successes, and be supportive when one or the other person is struggling. A little healthy competition in games or sports is just fine, but it should never to get petty. If you stopped contacting them, how long until they would reach out to you? If the answer was when they need something, cut them off of your life. If you feel attacked by this because you never reach out to your friends to hang out or something, well, start doing it. Friends should go both ways. If it doesn't, stop talking to them. Or realize you're being a bad friend. It takes 5 minutes to text someone. If you don't, eventually they'll stop taking the time and effort to sustain the friendship, and you'll lose a friend. But it should also be said that someone's own perspective on this is warped. If you never reach out, don't be mad at other people for not doing so. While I think it is important that other people engage with you on their own to call them friends, be sure to have a realistic grasp on both how much you actually put into it and what kind of friendship is even established. When they don't listen, look annoyed when you talk about your problems. When they don't accept that you being gay, it hurt me so bad. How about when it always seems to be you calling them and not vice versa? This is a tough one. I'd say it is a yellow flag, not a red flag. Sometimes the cadence works and there's an implicit agreement that one person will always be the one to initiate. Some people just aren't the type to initiate conversations. Also, not very friendship requires constant contact. When they only ask to hang out, BC someone else wouldn't hang out. I had a friend that was a real friend in school but never really wanted to hang out outside of school. Until one summer she invited me to go to a water park with her and her family. On the way there, it came out that another friend of hers was supposed to come but suddenly couldn't. And that's why they asked me to come in the first place. This person was a bad friend overall. She were a pathological liar, i.e. made up a boyfriend when she didn't have one and posed as him in group chats with everyone else. Lied about things my boyfriend allegedly didn't. Since I'd known her longer, I took her side, and generally made lots of jokes at my expense. She also lied and moaned about how bad her life was, saying her parents were abusive when they actually weren't. And whenever she got mad at me for something that never happened, She'd keep bitching and moaning until I told her what a shitty person I was compared to her and how much everyone loved her and I was nothing compared to her. And I was doing this willingly to the point that I actually believed she was a better person than me and I was shitty and unworthy of any love. Looking back now, I realize the reason I was depressed and had such a terrible image of myself and terrible self-esteem were because of this chick. 1. When they don't make the effort to contact you. 2. When you feel like you can't trust them, monsieur. 3. If they have no loyalty to you and don't defend you when someone is talking crap behind your back. 4. If they make snide remarks about the way you look, dress, weigh, etc. I honestly could go on, but we would be here for hours. I'll just describe my fake as fuck coworker who loves to pretend we're friends but really just says shit cause it sounds cute and doesn't actually mean it at all. Pretends you are friends, only to say out loud, I don't have any friends next to you. To which later they recant. Probably because they realized what they did. Valentine's, you're my friend, holds people to a different standard than they hold themselves. Scapegoats people in front of all of their co-worker peers. Says you at the thought of dating you, even when you aren't interested in them at all. Says, sure that sounds like fun, when you ask to hang out or do something together only to be met with, actually I'll never have time to spend with you, when you ask to set something up. Calls you stupid several times. Assumes you're an idiot for not understanding something, even with zero context or any idea what happened. Does things with you, then straight forgets you were even involved. Then talks about it with other people next to you so you find out they can't even remember you did things together. Basically just treats you like a rapist. AKA you don't get to be my friend, when you only put in effort to be my friend 2% of the time. They threatened to cut you loose after not speaking for 2 weeks. Because you had work. Believe me, when you are 30, having friends sucks. They are so needy. When they make some sort of mistake and instead of owning up to it, they find it easier to abandon the relationship entirely. When they try and kill you, if that isn't a sign, I don't know what is. If they betray you, deceive you, abandon you when it matters the most, or don't accept you who you are. In this case, they would only befriend you to benefit for their own cause, and I would say that she isn't truly your friend, and in my opinion, they don't deserve to be your friend. A true friend isn't only there during happiness but also shares your sadness and understands you when you need them the most. A true friend gives you a safe feeling and you can be yourself. They are honest with you, have your back, and always want the best for you. I would say if you're asking the question, that is a pretty good indicator. You've heard of a fair weather friend, yes. How about a foul weather friend? Friends who are only around when your life is in shambles, so they can overcome the imperfections of their own situations. I was friends with a gal for nearly 20 years. 20 years. We fucking met in middle school, for crying out loud. She and her husband, married at 18, would be hit or miss in touch unless I was going through a hard time. I get married and things seem great, distant, but rough patches in my first marriage? They're there. My brother dies unexpectedly at age 29. They're there. More amazing and supportive than ever. My divorce? They are there so much and such like the BFFs I was needing. I get in touch with an old friend and we hit it off. He proposes and we marry. Somewhat there. We're happy with a baby on the way and a nice house. They're distant. Eventually they basically disappear altogether unless they need a job or credit reference. It's real. This doesn't spell it out as intricately as the situation requires, but you get the idea, I hope. A friend in need is a friend indeed. As the saying goes, I think foul weather friends are amazing. Though this might be a bit of a self-serving opinion on my part, since I am busy and probably create this same pattern myself at times. I really appreciate it in others. Thank you so much for watching and have a good day.